Fortnite has finally given us a straight answer about what is going on with Demon's Domain in Grand Finals. We finally get to know, and does this mean we are going to have Pete versus Pollo? I also want to talk about how the Eval Cup finals went. This is our last chance to see all the Grand Finals teams go at it, and both on EU and NA, it was extremely exciting. MrSavage now potentially being uncontested in Grand Finals, and a huge update to the competitive loot pool that I don't think anyone's talking about, and it's going to have massive impacts on Grand Finals. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. To kick things off, I'm finally getting to make my big announcement. I'm sorry for teasing you guys about it for so long. If you want to swing by my Twitch or YouTube stream, I'll be live at 12:30 p.m. ET talking about everything. If you guys miss it, don't worry. It'll also be posted on my other social media channels, and I'll talk about it in tomorrow's video. It's extremely exciting, and I promise you, you're gonna love it. We have yet again another change at Demon's Domain. I hope this is the last time I'm going to talk about this, because Fortnite finally made it clear. They explained exactly what's going on. After they said nothing was going to change, and then a leaked video went around showing that Demon's Domain looked completely different, Fortnite Competitive have now gone onto Twitter and they've clarified, saying on day 2 of Major 3 Finals, all regions will experience the changes August 3rd. But they then replied, any map changes that may take place during the Super Showdown story event will not impact FNCS. The only update is Daigo's location. So that means that it looks like we are getting, which I didn't even know was possible, Fortnite FNCS Grand Finals is going to run on a different version of Fortnite, or at least when you load into a tournament, Demon's Domain is going to be exactly the same. The video that went around looks exactly like what I imagined Demon's Domain would look like after the event. It's all destroyed, it's ruined, there's no building whatsoever, because I'm guessing that's where the tentacle Kraken monster comes out of. But in competitive, it looks like none of that's going to happen. We've actually had leakers like Osirian go in and check the game files. They've been able to find out that it looks exactly the same, except for Daigo is going to spawn down here underneath the building. So if anything, Demon's Domain actually got buffed. It's not a huge buff, but not having the boss fight you when you're trying to fight someone else off spawn, or when you're trying to loot, is actually a little bit of a buff. And it's a lot harder for teams to sneak up and third party you now and take a fight while you're trying to take down the boss, because you're a lot safer underneath where you can just build yourself off. So if anything, after all of this, Demon's Domain got even better. And I don't know why Fortnite took such a long time to make it clear. I mean, I do think I know. My main theory going, and a lot of people could disagree with this one, is Fortnite is a really big company. If you ever worked for $1 billion company, or you know someone who does, they'll probably explain how hard it is to have things communicated properly. There's a whole bunch of smaller teams that work at Epic. You're going to have the competitive team, you're going to have the marketing team, and all those teams don't communicate usually very well. So I'm guessing the competitive team is scrambling, trying to figure out what they're going to do, because this event has been put on during FNCS, and they're just trying to make the best of it. So I think Fortnite Competitive has changed the wording so much and made it so confusing, because I think they actually didn't know what the plan was until now. But I don't see any way to interpret this any differently. They've said that it will be exactly the same except for the boss moves. Now, big question. What does that mean for Peterbot? Is he going to come back to Demon's Domain? The answer is no. Peterbot has made it very clear, despite the fact that the boss is still going to be there, the loot is going to be the same, he is staying at Brutal Boxcars. He's only going Demon's Domain and Opens, and that's what we saw today in the Eval Cup finals. Both Pollo's team made it to finals, and Peterbot's team made it to finals, and Pete dropped Boxcars, whereas Pollo dropped Demon's Domain. So it looks like after everything, Peterbot will not be fighting Pollo at Demon's Domain. And I think a lot of people saw this coming. Like we talked about, it kind of seemed like Peterbot just needed an excuse to leave Demon's Domain. Yes, this might hurt his off-spawn rep, but honestly, at this point, I feel like the fact that Peterbot lost off-spawn at all has already done the damage. At this point, you might as well lock in, try to win FNCS, and one of the best ways to get your off-spawn rep back and have a good performance at Globals and try to get a drop spot uncontested is to show you're still as dominant as you have been. Contesting Demon's Domain would prove that you're willing to not leave a drop spot, but I feel like most people just look at the placement you've had recently and see how well you did. If Pete wins, let's say 7 or 8 out of the 12 games off spawn against Pollo, which would be a really good performance, I still think people are going to say, well, you didn't win all of them, you can be beaten. So I don't know how much it matters. Honestly, I personally am super excited that Peterbot is staying Brutal Boxcars. From the very beginning, I have said watching the spawn fight has been super fun, but I hope in Grand Finals we get to see all the best teams with Unconned drops and see who comes out on top. And that's exactly what we have. Pollo's team now has Demon's Domain, Clicks has Supernova, Pete's at Boxcars. That's if Edgy doesn't make it through Last Chance Qualifiers. I'll talk about that in a bit. Canada's at Crime City. We have the South Americans King over at Lone Wolf. It is looking like it's going to be one of the most fun grand finals in a minute. And I know a lot of people are going to jump on Peterbot and, start flaming him. Pete has been very vocal on social media about how he's never leaving a drop spot. He'll contest till the end, and it looks like he's left. So I think Pete's just going to have to deal with that. I think the easiest way to answer back to any of that criticism or anyone who's smack talking is just come out and win FNCS. And I think Pete can definitely do that from Brutal Boxcars. I will say, I think Acorn, Ages, and Poyo are the team to beat. Uncontested Demon's Domain is insane. Now that Clicks is not getting the Spire loot because, Pete's going to get that at Boxcars, that does diminish Supernova's loot a little bit for what Clicks was getting. So I think Demon's Domain is the objectively best drop spot. You have the Mythic AR, you have the Infinite Shield Regenerating Medallion, you now have the Academy Tech Labs around to take rifts. It is just the best drop on the map, and if Acorn, Ages, Poyo play as good as I know they can, I think they will win FNCS. But in saying that, if Pete puts on an insane performance, if Clicks pops off, Canada, any of those big teams, they could win FNCS, and that's what makes it so exciting. Demon's Domain and the update around it wasn't the only thing that changed in this new update. We weren't supposed to get anything too major before Grand Finals, and for the most part, we didn't. One of the changes was when you're using the bird form now, you can't get healed from a med mist grenade. Not really that big of a deal, but the biggest change they made by far, and this is absolutely game-changing, Fortnite has added the med mist back into the game. And I don't mean the med mist smoke grenade, like the actual can of med mist. You can get it from a vending machine for 25 gold. That is nothing. That is ridiculous. And because you spawn in with, I think it's 50 gold at the moment, you can buy 2 of these from the vending machine. Now, it only has a 33% chance of spawning, but already in today's Eval Cup finals, we saw a huge impact from this. And I think it buffs teams specifically who like to play a lot of Storm. It fits into Veno and now Peterbot's playstyle out of Brutal Boxcars. They tend to go for a lot of their surge trading on top of the mountain in the early game, then they tank a lot of Storm and rotate dead side and like to come in out of the Storm. Teams like Queasy also do this. Acorn's been doing a little bit as well, but I think this med mist change is going way under the radar. Fortnite didn't talk about it anywhere and has caught a lot of people off guard. It has led to potentially even more heal off, which I know is not everyone's favorite part of the game. It's definitely not mine, but at the same time, I think it will allow for some strategic gameplay, and I think this update potentially has now buffed Peterbot at Brutal Boxcars. Anyone can use this playstyle, obviously, but specific teams that like to play in Storm, especially Raz's clients, the coach that Peterbot and Veno both use, absolutely love playing Storm, and for 25 gold, you can now tank 150 seconds of 1-tick zone for free, essentially. You're literally starting with enough gold to buy it. It's just extra meds around the map now. So this was a very, very big change that Fortnite didn't really talk about, and I feel like no one is talking about. With some very good news, I do have an update on Preston. Preston, the player that got banned for eliminating a player, has now been unbanned, and I'm very thankful to see that Epic actually did something about this. It kind of does suck that it took a few days, but no harm done. Preston didn't miss any tournaments. He is now back in Grand Finals. That does mean, unfortunately, Day has been knocked out, but Day, being the absolute legend he is, tweeted out that Preston deserved to be unbanned. It is what it is, and he's going to be playing Last Chance Qualifier. So I wanted to give that update, because I know a lot of you guys were upset to see Preston banned. I'm super happy to see he's been unbanned, and that leads me to talking about the next thing I want to talk about, which is my predictions for Last Chance Qualifiers. We have the Opens taking place today, and I don't really know who's going to come out on top here. I'm sorry, I'm not going to really give some crazy in-depth predictions. It is a kind of crazy format. If you guys don't know, it is 10 games, 3 hours for Opens. Anyone can play in any division. You just have to have queued up at least one divisional cup this season and played your 14 tournaments to be eligible to play in tournaments. Then you can queue up, you play 10 games, 3 hours, the top 33 teams make it through to finals, where they play 3 games. If you win a game, you go through to grand. So it's a pretty crazy format, and when we have gigantic names, it's hard to pick. But right now, if I just had to guess off the top of my head who I think is going to bring it home, it's probably going to be Edgy on NA, which would be insane, because if Edgy now makes grand finals, that means he will be contesting Peterbot at Brutal Boxcars, which means Pete might go back to Demons, or he's going to stay. That would make things so much messier after Pete just deliberately targeted him to get him out of grands. We'll have to wait and see that one. I think Muzz, obviously phenomenal team. Some people even picking him to make LAN, so the fact that he's not in grand finals is pretty crazy. If he does make grand finals, unfortunately, he's now being contested by Cooper if he goes resistance base, or he's going to be contested by Curve and Xander if he goes Flooded Frogs. So very tough position once they get there, but I think Muzz will be able to pull it off. And my last spot, I'm actually giving to Creon, the Hispanic trio in NA. They don't get a lot of love, but I do think they can pull it off. I'm sure I'm going to get at least one of of those, if not more, wrong. It's super hard to pick. We have other big teams. I'm cheering on 20. Outside of that, on EU, I'm really hoping we see Shark make it through to the finals. There's so much hype and excitement around Shark now. Not seeing him in finals would be really, really upsetting. Also, I'm going to be cheering on Refsgaard personally. I like Refsgaard's trio. He's playing with the Frenchies. I want to see the French players dominate coming into the LAN. And then outside of that, the last spot is tough. You've got to pick between Cammy, Thomas HD. I mean, I'm going to give it to Thomas just because there's just no way Thomas is going to miss out on 2 grands in the same chapter. And I think if Thomas misses out, he very well might retire. So for the sake of all of Fortnite, I really want to see Thomas make it through. I did want to recap how the Eval Cup finals went. This was our last set lobby finals before FNCS outside of Last Chance Major, but it's our last chance to see the teams that are already in grand finals. And before I talk about this, one big change, MrSavage apparently is now uncontested. We have Rax's team deciding to leave Resistance Base to then triple contest the bridge. I'm not really sure what's going on here. A lot of people are really confused why this team would do this. I'm not entirely sure. It almost makes me think they're faking them out and they're just going to surprise Savage in grand finals, but I don't know why they would announce it now. Like, MrSavage's team is obviously expecting that. Super confused, but if it does end up happening and MrSavage, Chap, and Rezon are actually uncontested at Resistance Base, that would be amazing. At this point, I'm just chalking it up to the fact that MrSavage has earned some kind of good karma to finally just miraculously be uncontested for all the times he miraculously got contested. So super excited to see how that one plays out. Hopefully it stays that way. MrSavage unfortunately didn't make the EU Eval Cup finals. There was a lot of our big teams missing. We had no Frodoxy, no Queasy, no Malibuka, no MrSavage, no Mongrel. So there wasn't quite a few teams missing, but it was still a good finals to watch. I will say Akira, Karama, and Werix played fantastic. They got a 4th place and a win. We had Dynas, Giras, and Frantic, who only played 3 games, but won 1 of them with 10 elims. Mixin, Upple, and Focus, who are a little bit underwhelming in groups, have bounced back in the Eval Cup, getting a 14 elim win. And then we had Sky Jump, Refsgaard, and Mumsy winning the last game with 9 eliminations. Meanwhile, over on NA, we had a super exciting finals. Pretty much all of the big names made it through. We were missing Booga, but most of the other big names were still there. We had Rapid, Kanata, and Bolt playing exceptionally well, getting an 8 elim win, a 9 elim 3rd, a 10 elim 10th, and a 7 elim 3rd. Kanata's team is looking really, really good to take one of the 2 land spots up for grabs on NA in grand finals. They've been using a lot of weird strategies to take and hold high ground. Rapid absolutely loving the Shockwave pistol. I talked about this a bunch. Using the Shockwave pistol to launch people off high ground, take high ground, and then just keep applying so much pressure to everyone down below. They are using this to fantastic success right now. Again, I'm currently streaming and making my content from the dig house, so I'm living with Kanata, and I can tell you my man is completely locked in on this land spot right now. I'm extremely excited to see how they do in grands. I think we will see them getting quite a few wins off the high ground. Obviously, it's only an Eval Cup, it's not grands, but the way they're looking in this end scrims has been phenomenal. We had Aegis, Acorn, and Pollo, no surprise with Unconned Demon's Domain. First game, they went down to being contested, but it was a European team who mostly focused on 0 builds. I think they were just dropping on Acorn to see if they could pull it off. There was also a bus bug where Aegis and Pollo weren't able to jump out of the bus until it got to the end of its path, so Acorn had to 1v3 off spawn. But outside of that game, they got a 12 elim win, a 7 elim 7th, and an 11 elim 4th. Then we had Xenon, Vorks, and Freeze, an NA West team who are in grand finals, get a 12 elim win on NA Central. Very good showing from them. And then our South Americans dominated with a 9 elimination win in their last game. King absolutely popped off, and I do want to show you this clip because it was just insane. Oh, we're going up with the 220 chug. Okay, f it, never mind. We're not going for the heal off. Oh, okay, we sold. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Never mind.
Tengo vira con 200, Toto, toma. Voy a jugar.
Now we're dropping it. W. Oh, it was bolts. Kanata. Nice. Oh my god. Oh my god. Double chug jug. Oh my god, leave all the chug jugs. No, leave the other one. Okay, just kill this kid. Why not? He doesn't know where the f you are. Oh my god, Pete. Pete looking the wrong way. King's him. What the f? Oh my god, 1v1. Get him, King. Get him, King. They got cheated out of their Eval Cup win last week to a bug. Come on, this is the win. This is it. This is the Dubski. If we lose this, I swear to God. Wait, he's burning. We win. He's already burning. Surely we win. He's got no more heal off. We win. Just don't give him Siphon. Don't give him Siphon. Don't give... No, King. Yes. Fucking W. Vamos. It wasn't just in endgame that King was dominating, they also held their own in a mid-game fight against Peterbot, actually taking Pete down in a straight 3v3. The South Americans are looking really, really good on NA. I was a little bit scared when I first saw them come over. I wasn't super impressed, but either they've improved dramatically in that time or I just caught them on an off day. They are looking really good. That does mean Peterbot wasn't able to get a win from Brutal Boxcars, but before you panic, if you're a Pete fan, they got a 14 elim third, 7 elim third, and a 9 elim second. So they're looking completely fine, don't worry. Clix also missing out on a win. Usually we see Clix get at least one win in the eval finals, but they got a 7 elim 6th, a 5 elim 13th, a 12 elim 2nd, and a 7 elim 11th. So looking really, really solid as well. So as you can see, all of our big names are firing coming into grand finals, and I do really think it is anyone's grand. It is going to be such an exciting finals to watch.